Hey there, good morning. It is 7:30 on this Tuesday, March 12th, 2024. Welcome to Breakfast with Bridgett. I'm your host, Bridgett Ellison. Hope you're keeping warm out there this morning, but we are headed for a very nice warm-up later, but it is chilly again this morning as you step out. Meteorologist Candace Campos is in the Pinpoint Accurate Weather Center. It is a crisp, cool morning. Candace, good morning.
Good morning. It's lovely. It's kind of our last, I would say, last jacket-worthy kind of morning
All
before
right.
we really start to warm up. But I have a little tidbit for you that I really didn't have enough time to talk about on News
Oh,
6 mornings, but we have a little time now. So let's talk about it, shall we? Some big changes ahead in the forecast. All right, let's look at those temperatures out the door right now. We're in the 40s and 50s pretty much area-wide. Now, tomorrow morning, we'll be waking up more into like the 50s and 60s. So it will switch up a little bit. We're at 47 in the Villages, 57 in Kissimmee, about 53 degrees there in Melbourne. Now, throughout the next few hours, we'll be warming up nice. Our average for this time of the year is about 77. We're going to be up to about 79. So near normal, partly cloudy skies. Right now, we're dealing with a north breeze, but throughout the day, it will veer more onshore. And that's the reason why we will be warming up. As temperatures warm up today and throughout the rest of the work week, our pollen numbers are still going to be extremely high. Oak and grasses continue to be the main pollen producers. Honestly, this is just a little side note. Don't even worry about washing your car because the
Ay.
pollen is so bad out there. It's going to act like you never even washed your car a day later. Looking here at clouds and rain forecast, we're going to stay dry. I'm kind of fast forwarding the clock here. And here comes Sunday, Monday. We have a cold front come through late Monday and into early Tuesday morning. That's going to be bringing with it a good chance of rain, up to about a 50 to 60%. Yesterday at this time, we were talking about the chance of rain happening on Sunday, but models are shifting that front, slowing it down just a little bit. So it looks like our chance for rain will come more Monday and into Tuesday. But this is our Climate Prediction Center's graphic here that shows all the blue indicating below average temperatures. So there is a good consensus, and it's something that Jonathan Kegas has been talking a lot about on WeatherWise, which will be coming up just after this show, talking a lot about how we could be seeing our last real blast of cold air, and it could be from this front. So as we head into kind of the middle and end of spring break for next week, we could be dealing with a nice blast of cold air. Highs could be back into the 60s. In the meantime, let's talk about what we know for sure. It is going to be a warm stretch. We're going to be nearing 90 degrees as we head into St. Patrick's Day on Sunday. I'd like to say no green on the radar on Sunday. We're still looking mostly dry. That chance of rain will return to the forecast as we head into your Monday. Your coverage up to about 50%. How will models do as we hold on to the potential of that dip in temperatures? We'll, of course, have to wait and see. But just to be aware, if you have beach plans, if you're planning on doing just very summery Florida spring break stuff, which is normally like beach and boating and pool, for instance, you might want to have some options where it might be a bit on the cooler side. So stay tuned. We'll, of course, have a better idea as we get a little closer in. But that's my little extra tidbit that I just didn't have enough time to really talk about this morning on CBS.
Yeah, that's the weather story. That's what we like to call it because you have more
Yeah,
time than just the forecast.
which is why I love this format, because we can kind of talk about
Hmm.
it. Gives me a little bit of wiggle room to talk about certain models, and as we get more into more of an active afternoon pattern, as we get into hurricane season, we'll be able to kind of dive in a little bit. But if you really want to dive in and it's just in a really cool, informative way, stick around.
That's right.
8:30. Oh, is it 8:30? 8 o'clock.
It's
It
eight.
comes.
Yeah, it's 8.
Oh, it's at
Then
8
Trooper
o'clock.
Steve's on patrol at 8:30.
That's what it is. Yeah. I
Yes.
forgot. This is 7:30.
Some
You know
days it's
what?
the weather story that's longer. Some days it's the traffic story that's longer. And Trooper Steve has quite the story to tell this morning.
Yes, he does. Let's give us back that hour.
I know. I'm upset today. It's really,
I know.
this spring forward business is disheartening.
And it's always like the second day where you're like, okay, this is going to be forever.
I know.
At least until we switch back.
Cheers to the Celsius this morning. Yes.
And coffee. Cheers.
Yes, and maybe some cafecito if I learn how to make it, because Trooper Steve definitely doesn't have time for us today for that.
And
But
no, he's been running
I'm gonna,
around. I know And he has a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, I'm going to head over to him. Thank you, Candace. I'll see you in a little
You're
bit.
welcome.
All right. Trooper Steve is out in Results 1, headed out on patrol soon, but it has been a very busy morning. Your face really says it all there. Not real good news this morning with the traffic department.
No, you're right, Bridget. All this stuff is just so avoidable, and it's little mistakes that we make that create such huge tragic, and I say tragic, results out there. So we'll go straight to traffic right now, what we're watching out here. DOT cam, we've been watching this for the entire morning show. FHP just sending out some information, not complete yet, but some preliminary information. What we're looking at here is Department of Transportation camera. So to the far left of your screen are the main lines of westbound I-4. Where you're seeing all those troopers and the crashed vehicles is your exit ramp from westbound I-4 to Sand Lake, one of the longest exit ramps we have out in this area. Extremely busy, a lot of construction. You can see it's still an active construction zone even with the crash, but this is a fatal crash investigation that we've been watching, and this ramp will be closed probably for the next 2 to 3 hours out here with a confirmed dead driver and one transported trauma alert. Now, FHP has at least confirmed that one of the vehicles was driving the wrong way up the exit ramp from Sand Lake at a high rate of speed and crashed into that Jeep. From what we understand at this point, I have followed up with some preliminary information to ask some more questions. Listen, when you've got a cop on staff, I hear things. There are some other things pertaining to this crash that I want to know. But right now, westbound, your exit ramp is shut down. You are not allowed to exit there. But hear me out. If you're watching this from anywhere and you're getting ready to hit the road, you normally have got that nice cup of coffee listening to Bridget in the morning. You need to make sure you exit early out here. So either exiting at Kirkman or to Universal Boulevard if you're trying to get to Sand Lake. I say that because if you bypass Sand Lake, you will not have an opportunity to exit until State Road 528, and that is a huge difference in time. Bridget, I heard you even talking about it this morning. If you bypass that, you're kind of stuck at that point, so you got to be careful out there. Your drive times are affected by this, so please be careful. 31 minutes, Kissimmee to downtown, 25 from Lake Mary. And then this is another problem. We'd said that this was supposed to be open by 6 a.m. Here we are at 7:37 in the morning. This is going to be eastbound I-4 in Volusia County, a big ramp, very busy ramp, US 92, International Speedway Boulevard towards Daytona Beach. So this ramp still closed for maintenance. It is not a crash. It was shut down at 2 p.m. yesterday. They closed this. So we are still closed out there trying to get an update. But again, if you're traveling out here, you're going to run into a slight delay. Because the detour is so smooth, we're not seeing a major problem. All you have to do, continue eastbound towards 95, head north on 95, and then ta-da, you're reconnected with 92 there. So just make sure you're aware of that. Outside of that, we're seeing some delays along Narcoossee, down in the St. Cloud, Lake Nona area. But Bridget, this is where just east of Narcoossee, where they want to put that Sunbridge neighborhood, another large neighborhood to go out here with no expansion of the roadway. So it could get interesting. St. Cloud, you guys are in the green for right now. Turnpike checking out pretty good. Southern portions and 441 up to speed. Overnight, watch out for a lane closure along 535. Outside of that, Bridget, the biggest thing I'm watching, I'm trying to back up as quick as I can, is this crash out here along I-4. So if you could avoid this area, this is just a nasty situation. A driver, from what I understand, the at-fault driver, from what I understand, is the deceased driver in this. But either way, 100% avoidable. This stuff, maybe sometimes I'm different than a normal traffic guy. I take this stuff a little personal. I get wound up with stuff like this just because I have literally been on these scenes. I have come out of a Dodge Charger, just like what we're looking at there, to be on these scenes, and it sucks. And you look at it and you're just like, why? This is avoidable if we just pay attention. And it's from everything from, hey, staying on a traffic stop or making sure you're paying attention in a construction zone and things like that. You live out on the west side over in that area. That Sand Lake thing is a mess. I'm thinking you suggested I go out there and do a Trooper Steve on patrol, I think you and me
Yeah.
should hit the road for lunch one day and go take a nice drive out there and we just talk about it.
Let's go through a drive-through first, please,
Hey, done
because
deal.
I don't
Girl,
want to go through that
you
on the
don't
way
need
to
to
the
say,
food. You want to talk
I'll
about
never say
attitude?
no to food.
Okay.
Right. We'll both
As
be
long as it's
hangry
okay
just
to eat
yelling
in
at
the
people.
truck because we will be
Hey,
stuck.
look, I got one of these, and if you click the button, we could yell at people and it just
Oh.
start. Oh, I can make
Hey, buddy, I
lights and
see
all
what you're
that.
doing. You're in the left lane. You're going to
Right,
try to
like
cut in front of all the right lane drivers. Don't do it. Yeah.
get off the phone, like stuff like that. So we'll have a
Oh,
good time, but I do think it is necessary for you and I to go out there at some point and just see what's going on because it's
we won't
scary.
be mean. We'll
It's
just
truly
do a
scary.
few courtesy beeps, right? If it's just a few
Right.
courtesy honks.
Education. So since we can't do enforcement, it'll be education through criticism.
Well, it's easy
Yeah.
to do that when you're in a big truck, but
Well, hey, I've had some road rage people come at me even in results one, and I'm like,
oh,
boy, I got 6 cameras on here. I am watching everything you're doing. You dummy. Like, come on. But on patrol today, I'm going to be headed down towards Melbourne. So we'll air a nice one at 8:30, but it does take me some time to get down towards Melbourne. So I'll be live on the stream at 10 a.m. today. A little further south. I'm still waiting for this viewer to email me a proper location, but I have an idea. But either way, we'll take a nice drive out in Melbourne, check out the speeding and things and stuff in that area. I love getting out of our little bubble here in Orlando. And then, yeah, that'll be at 10 a.m. today. But right now, just if you can, westbound I-4, avoid that Sand Lake ramp.
all right, sounds good. So maybe a little bit of spring break traffic out there or no?
Uh,
Hard to say.
For the next 3 weeks, Bridget, we could expect I-4 just to be different, expect the turnpike to be a little different, just because you start Googling throughout the country and everyone starts taking their spring break at different times.
Right.
So we are the recipient of that because we get 1 full month of it because everyone
Mm-hmm.
wants to come here. Lucky us. So if you are a local resident, Bridget is spot on. Just be ready, be paying attention. We have people from all over the world coming here right now. And as a trooper, if it's a minivan and it's doing like reckless driving, I can almost guarantee where they come from. I'm just saying, people around the world have different driving traits, and you can tell when certain people have their spring breaks and when they're in town. So the biggest thing I could say is just mind your P's and Q's. And hey, if you don't need to go out to the attractions, stay home.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if the increased enforcement around the beaches, like if you'll notice that in that beach area or not.
I know they've deployed some troopers out towards towards the Daytona area to assist Volusia County. Our troopers along 95 are zero tolerance right now. And it was suggested by our other producer, Donovan, that we should maybe get Molly Reed to jump in and we take a nice drive along New Smyrna Beach to see
Mm-hmm.
what things are going on out there. I forget that we have this truck to go and see all this stuff, but the enforcement this year is different in Florida. I think it's definitely a lot heavier. And I think people are starting to realize, look, you can come here to the state of Florida, but don't act a fool.
Well, and unfortunately, I noticed some bad headlines this morning out of South Florida when it comes to the spring breakers. So you can hope for the best and try to prepare for the worst, and that's all you can do.
Right.
But I want to see results one drive on the sand. So I don't know what time that opens up, but
Well, I don't know. Maybe
at
we
some
kick
point,
Molly out for that one. You and I just go do that. We can have lunch on the beach.
hey, you keep coming up with these great ideas. So something's got to stick.
Let's do it.
Okay.
All right.
We'll see you at 10 then.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Some great news when it comes to Cruise 7. They are back here at home on Earth. Splashdown happened just about a couple hours ago in the Gulf of Mexico. There it goes, the capsule splashing down there with the Cruise 7 members. They spent 6 months at the International Space Station, of course, and they arrived back safely. So far, so good. They had undocked from the space station yesterday and on their trip back home. But while they were on board the ISS, Crew 7 conducted scientific research to prepare for human space exploration beyond our Earth's orbit. So, great job, guys. Welcome back. An update on a big debate in Volusia County for our schools. There's a controversial policy set to come back up for debate today for school leaders in Volusia County. It surrounds a proposal that would allow random searches of students. And this plan was put on hold for a while because of concerns raised by parents. Here's our Ezzy Castro with more.
It's a controversial topic for Volusia County families. The school board is set to revisit a policy today that would allow students to be randomly checked during school hours using metal detectors. In January, the proposal was tabled by the school board after concerns from parents and the teachers union.
This agenda item is creating or has the potential to create a culture of fear and intimidation.
While there's still a lot of questions on how the system would exactly work, the district says the school would be picked at random, and there would be teams to deploy and conduct the screenings. Students would walk through the detectors under supervision with the goal to get students to class on time. Several parents, though, claim the policy would disrupt learning and violate their Fourth Amendment rights. But school leaders say the policy is legal and that it's about keeping kids safe.
It will be done at every single school, whether it's done on certain days, randomly done, however that looks is still for discussion.
And now we want to get you to a little bit of a scary story here. Troy Campbell has more on another gator attack in Leesburg. A fisherman this time had to be rushed to the hospital. He was attacked Sunday in the Grand Vista Trail area by a 9-foot gator, and there were many calls made to 911 right after this attack was noticed. Here's Troy.
There's a gator attacking a man in my backyard. The guy's walking around with blood on his hand.
Calls into emergency dispatch in Lake County Sunday after Florida Fish and Wildlife say a fisherman was bitten by a 9-foot alligator.
Is this regarding a gator attack?
Yes, he took his hand off.
Oh, no.
FWC says the man was injured on his wrist and arm.
We have to be careful.
We caught up with Brandon Fisher from Gatorland about the risks this time of year on the water.
Pretty much every body of fresh water has one. There will be one, or there has been one in it. They get up and travel. Food dries up, they go search for new food. Water dries up, they go search for new homes and bodies of water. So they're definitely a huge, important part of our ecosystem here in Florida. And Florida being as nice as it is, and everybody loving the outdoor activities, we have to be careful.
So technically, gator mating season begins in April to June. Most active from dusk to dawn. However, it's not unheard of to see these heightened activity levels starting in March. FWC also says that gators, the type of water they like, isn't the kind of water me and you like when we go out. We like clear water. Instead, gators like murky water, lily pads, kind of like what you see right here. Also, something very dangerous that experts in Florida always warn about. No matter what, never feed an alligator. They describe it as if you feed a gator one time, then they forever associate a human being with food. And obviously, if you are just walking in a parking lot with your toddler or your dog, that's going to be problematic. Never get too complacent either. Even if you're out in the middle of a lake with friends splashing around, you might think it's safe. The fact is, there are gators in these lakes, so make sure that you are always cautious.
In Orange County, Troy Campbell, Getting Results, News 6.
Right there by our Troy Campbell, making it look easy. But again, be safe out there. The wildlife officials say that the mating season, again, like they said, is next month that it starts to pick up, but they do get more active right beforehand. And from dusk to dawn is when they're most active. So, just follow some of those guidelines and be careful out there. You can still enjoy it. You just have to share that wildlife area with all the wildlife because they were there first. But when it comes to security at home, we went from security around the water to security at home. Maybe you have a video doorbell camera, and we've talked about these and some of the security risks around them since they came out. But there is a new report out from Consumer Reports about which ones are better than others when it comes to the security risks involved with having a doorbell camera. But our Insider Guide morning anchor Crystal Moyer has more on why there are these security risks and who could be hacking into them, as well as which brands have more flaws than others when it comes to video doorbells.
This is an actual screenshot of a video doorbell accessed from almost 3,000 miles away.
We were really surprised to find that anyone could walk up to one of these doorbells and take it over in a matter of seconds, and from there actually view screenshots of the doorbell potentially from thousands of miles away.
Consumer Reports' extensive security test revealed a number of video doorbells that have serious security flaws that could make users vulnerable to a security breach. They all use the same mobile app called Awit. The devices Consumer Reports tested are sold under the brand names Eakin and Tuck, but we found the doorbell sold under many other brand names, including Fishbot, Rake Blue, Ando, Luck Wolf, and more. Retailers including Amazon, Walmart, and Sears, along with Shein and Temu, sell them. Experts blame the flood of cheap, insecure electronics from Chinese manufacturers being sold in the U.S. as a growing problem.
We're seeing a lot of overseas manufacturers create these obscure, cheap, no-name products and then flooding marketplaces here in the US with them. Retailers do very little to vet these products, and it's very easy to become a seller on one of these online marketplaces.
Consumer Reports reached out to Eakin and Tuck, but has not received a response. If you have a video doorbell that uses the mobile app Awit and it looks like the models you see on your screen, Consumer Reports recommends you disconnect it from your home Wi-Fi and remove it from your door.
So take note of those brands and the apps that go along with them and make those adjustments, because that security is important. But it sounds like, you know, the brand does matter in cases like this with the doorbell cameras. So they've evaluated, Consumer Reports has evaluated video doorbells with better security, and they recommend Logitech, Simply Safe, and Ring, among others. So we have posted the brands that are more risky for you on insider.com. So on clickorlando.com/insider. So if you're not an insider, it's free to sign up. You get access to exclusive content like this we get from Consumer Reports and other places, as well as behind the scenes stories on our insider page. So sign up to be a News 6 insider at clickorlando.com. Mega Millions. Hey, it is up again, and if you've ever dreamed about being a multimillionaire, you have a chance again tonight. The jackpot up to $735 million, and the winner could choose between 30 annual payments or a lump sum of $356.7 million. No one's won the top prize since early December. That's why this jackpot's so big. So remember, the only place to see the drawing live tonight during News 6 at 11 p.m., right before the 11 p.m. news starts. So make sure you tune in. We talked about the cold season, the cold and flu season. We talked about the allergy season. Well, this next story is from our meteorologist, Michelle Morgan. And, you know, we talk about the coughing, the sneezing, all the pollen. And we wonder, why do people tend to seem sicker around the winter time? Well, Michelle talked to some experts about why the temperature change contributes to people struggling right now.
During the winter months in Central Florida, temperatures fluctuate drastically than any other season, and it seems that everyone is getting sick. So the big question is, do people really get sick more often during the winter? The short answer is yes. Here's why.
Human behavior changes when the weather begins to get cold outside. Many of us spend more time indoors, especially if you're used to a tropical climate, like Florida. I spoke to Dr. Mejia, an assistant professor of medicine at UCF Health, and being indoors more increases your chance of getting sick.
Bacteria tend to prefer environments that are more similar to your body, so warmer, moist. Now viruses do, and that's the catch with the cold and the seasonality, that in a colder climate, you know, someone sneezes into their hand and holds onto a door handle, that virus is going to stay there longer, ready for the next person to come and grab that handle and infect them.
Mejia said that some viruses peak in the winter months, including colds, flu, RSV, and COVID. While you can get sick at any time of the year, infections are highest from October to March.
And there was a recent study that found that when the tissue inside the nose cools down by a certain number of degrees, the immune response, the defenses of the nose just get blunted. So it's open season for viruses to come in.
There are a few simple ways you can lower your risk of getting sick, like washing your hands often and cover your coughs and sneezes. Wipe down frequently touched surfaces like doorknobs, light switches, and countertops, and drink water and eat well to build up your immune system. In the studio, getting results, News 6, Michelle Morgan.
That was really great information, and I even like that detail about like even when the nose gets too cold, that can also harm you in terms of its defense mechanisms not working as well. So it's very interesting. Thank you, Michelle, for that. And we want to let you know that WKMG is getting ready to hit the road again next month. And this time our zip code is 32771. That's the Sanford area. We want to hear from you. Go to clickorlando.com/hitstheroad. Let us know about 32771 and what makes this community so special. What are some of the challenges and changes that need to happen? You can make your voice heard. This is your opportunity because we will be telling many stories from many angles about 32771 coming up next month. So let us know. clickorlando.com/hitstheroad. And don't forget, while you're on clickorlando.com, enter for your chance to win some swag bags from News 6. That's on the insider page, which I just mentioned. But we're going to let you go for now. We'll be back tomorrow for Hump Day, 7:30 right here for Breakfast with Bridgett. And I'll see you with more news and weather updates on News 6 WKMG at noon. Jonathan Kekis is up next with a Weather Wise. We'll see you tomorrow.